Welcome back, everybody, to Foreboding Fridays here at Hold My DualShock. I'm your host, Katie, Andy, and of course, we have the lovely Terrace. I love how you just changed your background.
Moi?
So this episode is going to be very interesting, you guys, because we're diving into what makes up a human being, and can you transcend death and still exist in another form? Is it possible?
I'm realizing that the pillow in my lap makes it look like my belly's out.
It
looks like my shirt's.
Just flip the pillow over, weirdo.
It's that Thanksgiving bulge, they call it, right?
Just say there's like the shirt won't go over my belly anymore.
Dude, holiday calories don't count. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
So. Holiday diabetes do, though. Yeah.
Oh, don't touch it. Okay, let's say welcome to everyone in the chat, and we can give our opening thoughts and get started. If you guys are new here, pinned at the top from Terrace House Guy is the link to the Discord for the Black Mirror episode, which we will first watch, discuss in the process, and then do a deep dive discussion into what it all means afterwards. What is up, Sergeant Garatina? Got Justin Patton in the chat. Thank you so much. Have a blessed stream. Got Ron E. Welcome. And Sergeant Garatia says Haley Atwell, the dame that played Chris Evans' main love interest in Captain America: The First Avenger. So, if you guys don't already know, Haley Atwell and I have a tenuous relationship because I also do not like her in the newest Mission Impossible movie. So, this was an interesting watch.
Haley Atwell ruined Katie's stories. Katie watches the Mission Impossible films like they're soap operas and thinks that Haley Atwell
it was a betrayal of Ilsa. Yes.
So I wanted to explore this before we started the stream or the actual watch party. Just because the episode deals with grief, and I know we don't do content warnings or trigger warnings on the stream. We probably should. But Katie, I just want you to know that, sometimes actors and actresses, they move on to other roles, and that's okay. Change is okay. It's okay.
But there is a right kind of change, Terrace, and there's a wrong kind of change. And going to Mission Impossible is the wrong kind of change. Said it here first, people. What's up, VP? Ronnie says, yay, Katie's back. Watching Gooch last night and thought Andy might have went full Beyonce. Full Beyonce?
What did I do that was full Beyonce last night?
Go on a stream by yourself? How dare you?
Oh, yeah. I gave up on Destiny's Child? Yeah, that's a good point.
How dare you?
Katie was passed out from Thanksgiving.
Oh. I'm just going to say it here. I'm just going to say it. And this actually might get us cancelled. Beyonce is not as talented as people make her out to be. I said it.
Okay, so this is going to be weird.
And I'm pretty sure that's more controversial than the whole Epstein shit we said last week.
This is going to be a weird tangent. Did you see the weird controversy that's starting up because of Zootopia 2 and Shakira and the number of people who are trying to say that Shakira stole moves from Beyonce?
That's been going on since the 2010 World Cup.
Is it?
It's a big thing. So
it's resurfaced again, and it's so weird and odd. And so there's people like literally fighting and arguing on the internet saying whether or not Shakira or Beyonce are better and who actually stole moves from the other one. I was like, what is going on?
And naturally, of course, I'm one of those people. I'm in the trenches fighting the good fight, of course.
Fighting for Shakira.
Of course, absolutely.
I think
whenever, wherever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bro, yeah.
Beyonce's
you show me one Beyonce song that has the narrative depth and spiritual strength of whenever, wherever. And
have you seen her in interviews? She's like she's a fucking robot. She can't
Beyonce?
Talk. Yeah.
Of course she is. We had the video where they asked Destiny's Child what about the war in Iraq or something. Like it was wild.
And they laughed as if they're like, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shakira was married to Gerard Piqué. That should tell you everything about the quality of that woman, that she can bag a legendary World Cup winner. And Beyonce ended up with a rap mogul.
Wait, did you guys see the article that came out this week? I think it was this week, Shakira was complaining. I think she was in some country where some wild boar, like pig or whatever, like attacked her and like took her purse, and she was complaining, "Oh, how I stood by and did nothing." And then someone commented, I too would probably stand by and do nothing if international superstar Shakira just had her purse stolen by a wild boar." And I was like,
Yes.
"What?
Like, what kind of world are we living in? What?
Surely you would sit there and think you're having a stroke. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I caught it. Like, I must have fallen and hit my head. And this is the things you see right before they take you off life support. I'm seeing Shakira being robbed by wild boars. The end is surely now.
Yeah.
Like at that point, you must think I've stepped into a parallel reality. Like nothing makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're fucking dying.
If
dude.
we or like somebody made a sketch about Shakira being robbed by wild boars, people be like, that's just too, it's not even absurd. It's just so nonsensical. It doesn't even have the ability to be funny because it makes no fucking sense. But it's happened in real life. So she needs to understand that people don't expect Latin celebrities to be robbed by pigs.
And
But
also,
dude,
where's your security?
Yeah, exactly. I actually think it's she's making it up for PR.
Yeah, so do I.
so-
What's up, Draconis?
War Habit literally says, doesn't she have security for that?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, what? Weird. Yeah, eaten by a wild boar is more believable.
That's Game of Thrones shit. Like,
Yeah.
Robert Baratheon dies fighting off a pig, you know?
Stole her purse? Nah, I don't
Mhm.
believe it.
But it's also the same reason why, like, Armando Iannucci, who did Veep and the thick of it, he said he would never do shows like that again because he just says satire right now can't describe the reality we're living in. People just think it's too, I don't know, unbelievable.
It's like the whole like Onion articles aren't even funny anymore because you see those actual articles unironically from the real news, or like the Daily Gondor, like the fake Tolkien like newspaper that will take modern politics but just use the extremes of comparing them to like orcs or like elves and stuff. And the satire is not that satirical when we just live in it.
Yeah, when it's reality.
Yeah. I mean, you can't write characters as absurd as like the Trump tweets. It's Peter was showing me they have this and I guess it's always been that way because Peter was showing me the old John Rocker clips, the baseball player that kind of inspired Eastbound and Down. And the things John Rocker said are less believable than the jokes that they make with Kenny Powers. Like, it's just completely lacking of a PR team. But now with media, like we see it all the time.
Yay.
Yay. Before we start the episode, Terrace, do you want to give any of your opening thoughts?
So I think I do like this episode. But I'm falling into my Severance habits of not being schizo. So I'm not in that lane, but I think because time has passed, because this was a season 2 episode, where I'm like, they hit with a level of dullness now than when they originally hit when I first watched them. Because so many things have already manifested, like some of the tech, like it already exists, right? So you don't have to like imagine what it looks like. It's already here. And it's also super trippy that like 2 weeks ago we were just like literally talking about this. And I forgot that this was in this episode.
It's like what used to be like seem like futuristic like sci-fi episodes or like what could be are now just reality.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same, like, this is definitely a step back towards the stuff I like of Black Mirror. This is the type of episode I like. The kind of, it felt more like a short story. It's like more like of a thought experiment acted out, but then it does hit less critically, I guess, than it did when it first came out, because the idea of scrounging through your data and recreating like a composite from your social media presence, not only does that not seem
far-fetched,
I mean, it actually seems kind of mundane.
Yeah.
When you can use ChatGPT and Grok to like just ask, you know what I'm saying? So the wowness of hey, can you imagine like everything you've ever posted on social media being used to recreate you? And we're like, well, yeah. Like already we see that shit. Like, yeah.
Yes, I can.
Like we use that tech.
I think to be fair to us and the audience that have been watching every Friday, the episodes we have watched have been like top tier in terms of, I would say, shock and revulsion factor, or just spectacle. So at the same time, it is kind of nice to just go to, I don't know, what's that phrase you use, Andy? Paint by numbers, Black Mirror episode, where it's like, you know, like it can't always be, you know, crack cocaine driving at 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, breaking the mold.
I think once you get past the episode, this has a lot of like implied questions that are fascinating. I think probably more than last week, which was just repulsion. But I do wonder with some of the episodes in the future, like the Anthony Mackie episode. We were just talking about this stuff.
I was literally talking about this, thinking in my head. I think we don't do it.
I don't even think it's interesting enough anymore. Like the idea of, I mean, we were talking about that yesterday, right? Like the idea of making like Domino's orders in an app, like a VR sex video game. I mean, that sounds like when the Steam Deck comes out, that might be like
news.
Yeah, like when the new Steam console comes out, they might launch with like, hey, by the way, AI sex, like hop on with, you know, and just get off. Hop on and get off. Yeah.
The new motto: hop on and get off. Yeah.
And I do think that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think we're good for Black Mirror episodes through to the end of the year. We're not doing a stream next week, folks, because of reasons. But Jake Martin, he's not in the chat right now, mentioned the Animatrix over the weekend, and I thought,
yes,
that's actually a really good fucking show to talk about. So
yeah, I like that idea. I think I like Black Mirror. Going back and watching it, I'm realizing how many things we've already caught up with the tech. So some of the more far-fetched episodes and like some of the things that are more emotion driven, like I think San Junipero will still hold up because it gets into like the meta physical and the idea of like an afterlife. And I think that's what makes this episode still intriguing. But I think back on some of the episodes that were shocking back in the day, like the one with the famous one with the AI dogs. Do you remember where she's, you know, trying to use
Metalhead, I think.
Yeah, I think that one's, I mean, authoritarian robots. Like, I mean, that's just, I think, so old hat. I don't think that's, I mean, we have drones flying around already. I don't think that's, not only is it not far-fetched, it would be less scary than the alternative, which is a drone flying around and shooting you in the head.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the episode, and then we can work through
let's just get started
as we go.
Or how is this? Right. Every MMO is full of middle-aged men LARPing as teenage girls,
which is creepy.
Yeah. And we are talking about this. We're not holding back on spoilers, are we?
Nope.
We're just going.
Yeah, no, we're not. We're not holding back on spoilers.
Yeah. So something that kind of stood out rewatching this episode is, you know, because obviously he dies. That's the point of this episode.
Yeah.
And you see him on social media. And at the time, the first time I watched this, I took this as, oh, it was prep to show you the amazing advancements and why it was plausible that he could be like reborn through his AI, through his social media like profiles and stuff. Rewatching it kind of comes across like he's not that good of a boyfriend. Like
aren't they married?
Are they married, or I thought it was just they're just dating?
I think it's like they're either in a long-term relationship or they're married. One of those.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's a shitty partner.
Well, I don't think he's shitty. I just don't like. I mean, they love each other. They have a great rapport, but I don't look at this and think that this is like San Junipero finding your soulmate type stuff. It kind of comes across like you were together and she should have moved on, you know?
Yeah. It's not like they had like this ever dying love and infatuation for each other. Like they found their person. And I think also the beginning part of this is supposed to show you that like he clearly checks out because of how much he's in his phone.
Well,
and of not paying attention to like his surroundings.
And that kind of goes on to be, I think, the underlying reason she can't get over the AI version of him, because the AI version is very attentive. It's essentially like a waiter, which he never was.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just because, we as humans are all selfish and view the world through our lens, and viewing the AI as, or the realization that it is something that is built for her to do what she wants, that's only approximating his personality to even with that get closer to what her expectations are. I think she just can't get over it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an interesting way of looking at it. That didn't even cross my mind, to be honest, that he's actually kind of a shitty partner. But I think one of my first thoughts were this dude is kind of like before brain rot was a term. He was kind of he was giving me that.
Or like terminally online, like
maybe shitty partner is not the right word. Maybe it's just because of how we view people who are just scrolling through social media. We're putting on like the brain rot connotations or associations, because that's what that's come to mean. By the way, Black Mirror, impossibly thin and small phones. It's so weird.
Is it impossible? I thought they already have like a filmy kind of phone. It just didn't catch on.
That thin? That's crazy. I just think not in terms of is it possible to like create. I mean, impossible to live with, because if you put that in your pocket, I feel like if you bent over, it would crack like the old iPod Nanos did.
I think just to go back to your sort of point about the actor here, Donald Gleason. So I mentioned in the Discord, like he was also in About Time, which is a great film. I had forgotten that. Oh yeah, he was in Ex Machina, right?
Yep.
Which kind of is like the inverse of like the AI sentient bot in that is called Ava, right? So Donald Gleason's, the bot version of him is kind of like all external, no soul. Whereas in Ex Machina, I feel like Ava, when I say think for herself, like she can feel and she can like seek permanence or what have you, and want to see what's out there. Whereas you don't get that with this bot. And I just found that quite interesting that he's in both films.
Yeah, it's not as advanced. Like his version of the bot is more surface level.
Yeah, and the entire time, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the entire time I was watching this, I was thinking the episode would be so much more interesting, because it feels like this is like the alpha test of a bot, where because she's like giving suggestions. She says, "Oh, he would never say that," all this stuff, right? I'm like, I want to see a version 2 of this episode where the bot mimics the boyfriend exactly, like beat for beat, where it crosses the uncanny valley territory, where it's like you cannot tell the difference.
Yeah, because she starts to recognize, because in real life he's selfish.
Well, it's the new version of him is not a real person.
Yeah.
She very quickly starts to see the edges of what he posted on online or in social media. Yeah. But I do think that is an interesting point, like the difference between this and Ex Machina. Like Ex Machina is like the Turing test, but it's somebody who is brought in specifically to doubt, and the AI is there to convince that they're real. Whereas this is almost the inverse, where it's the AI is kind of sloppy and doesn't need to do a lot, because the purchaser wants to believe that it's real. And you kind of get the feeling that, if she was a more hedonistic, more shallow person, that this replicant would probably be enough. Like you could imagine a lot of people who were like, oh, I get to have the person that I love, but I get to like tweak them. I get to
make them my version, better
yeah,
version. Yeah.
you know, round out all their imperfections, boss them around. But again, that's not a real relationship, you know. And it's probably a credit to her, which Katie will hate, you know. That Haley Atwell's so deep that she doesn't want a perfect relationship. She wants an authentic one.
Yeah, she wants a real one.
So,
Shocking.
yeah. Maybe they're married. Is that a wedding ring?
I'm pretty sure it is. Draconis, so currently it's him as a person. He hasn't died yet.
So in this episode, he goes off now. He'll die in assuming like a car wreck. And then they use his online persona to build out a chat bot that will then go on and be put into a synthetic body. So yeah, she knows the entire time that it's not him.
Warhammer says, I mean, the AI doesn't have to be perfect to still be good company.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
It's too perfect.
Well, and I think, not no to you, but
yeah.
So it's like, I don't think it's that it's not good company. It's not a replacement for him. And that's, I guess what we're kind of getting to is the things that made their relationship real were the fact that he wasn't perfect. And
well, not that things that make humans people is that no one's perfect. Everyone has their own flaws and times that they're selfish.
Yeah, I think it's one of these things where like surface level imitation is easy. You could, you legit could today, right now, program something to mimic someone else. But the difficulty, and some may say it's impossible, is true human spontaneity, rationality, how contradictory we are, how we, are hypocrites sometimes, our quirks, like true emotional complexity cannot really be coded.
Yeah. That's a good point. Pull that one up, yeah.
Draconis said, I would argue that there is a bit of shallow selfishness to even consider making a replicant of your deceased spouse. Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Thank
you very much.
You're about to find out. So this is the scene, right? Draconis. This woman's a fucking bitch, by the way. She's literally like peddling a drug. She's literally like peddling this thing as like a, like how dealers will get you hooked on heroin, like the first hit is free. So what happens down the line where she has to pay for the more expensive model? It's literally the same model.
Yes.
Yeah. This, upon kind of seeing the way we have like all these pricey plans, it just came across like a subscription model, even though it doesn't seem like it's a reoccurring thing. She gets hooked on the chat bot, and then it's the chat bot that suggests the upgrade. And it just makes you think like, this is just a corporation cashing in on grief.
Like, seriously, who is this bitch?
Family member.
Yeah. But like, she clearly, I completely sympathize with her, and I would have done this as well.
This bitch is, and I've got it written here, it's capital letters, toxic as fuck. Like, why do that to someone at a funeral? What the fuck?
To make money. She clearly has to be getting like a kickback or something.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think it's like an affiliated link? Do you think it runs the same with all these things where somebody got her hooked on it? And when she gets this chick hooked on it, she'll get like 25% off, or she'll get, even like the whatever. Like imagine
a month off your upgrade.
Imagine if she's like, hey, and be sure to hit promo code whatever when you so that I get, it comes back to me.
I think we're giving the writers too much credit, but at the same time, we do love hypotheticals here. That is the rule.
Yeah.
And I did think that, like the commodification of grief, like, I think we've already crossed the Rubicon in it not being taboo anymore. You had, what was the lady from Star Wars that died where they used her?
Carrie Fisher,
Carrie Fisher. Like, if we're already doing that on the big screen, and this conversation gets kind of dark if I keep tangenting.
Like,
and I'm going
for her
to
go out of her way and say she signed her up, it clearly seems like she's getting something from this.
Yeah.
What's to start? Okay, so just with the confines of this episode, right? okay. Dealing with grief, I feel, is a necessary part of you moving on as a human being.
Yeah.
So to stay in stasis is something I've viewed as very unhealthy, but I also operate in reality. There are loads of people who don't want to let go of their loved ones, who would, I 100% guarantee, would order some sort of, maybe not an actual physical bot, but some sort of, I don't know, hologram-esque type thing that occasionally says something a couple times a day. But what about the shadier side of this industry that we're on the precipice of? What if people start making bots of famous celebrities without their consent and selling them on the black market?
Completely plausible, especially when you have Stan Lee as a AI like bot right now that you can talk to and ask questions. Like,
I feel like that's maybe part of the difference between the purity of the initial concepts, as if purity in terms of like being singular and focus on one aspect of these thought experiments versus New Black Mirror. I feel like if they made this episode today, one of the reveals would be that his profile, his AI chatbot, was quite popular and was being also farmed out to like lonely women and things like that, you know? Like I think that they would just throw that in there because I see that a lot from the new episodes. They just
like basically it needs that extra oomph if it was to be redone today. Because you got to bear in mind, like this is still season 2, episode 1. It's still early days for Black Mirror, so season 1 was a clear hit. The bar for Black Mirror back then wasn't very high. I will say that in the UK. So, with that being said, given that time period, it was a very good episode, and it still is. I'm not like I don't want to shit on the episode, but it would have been so much better if he was dead from the start.
Oh, where it's like for shock value for us to find out.
Yeah.
I think they needed to give you a reference though for what he was like.
Yeah, it's hard because, and again, it's one of those things with a lot of these Black Mirror episodes. The first time you see it, again, and the reveal here is not that it doesn't work out; it's that she ends up keeping it in the attic, and it becomes this discussion about grief because she didn't do the healthy thing and move on. She'll never move on, you know. And so now she's stuck with this poor facsimile of her loved one that her daughter goes and visits, treats like a toy,
which is disgusting.
Yeah, that's the haunting thing, right? Like trying to replace the human experience, the human need for grief with a easy, quick tech solution that long term ends up ruining you, and it ends up becoming this kind of pseudo argument for like, isn't that what social media is? It's a momentary decision that haunts you the rest of your life, you know, kind of like posting a dick pic or some shit. And that's the vibe I get from this episode. They're trying to make a statement more on social media than this idea of what truly makes a human.
Sorry, not to tangent, but I just saw this funny like thing on Twitter where someone is complaining about like his dick pics being released, but they were clearly AI generated because they're like like 12-inch dongs and stuff. He's like, I can't believe someone released my dick pics.
Oh my god!
I'm so ashamed and embarrassed. Like here are the links.
That's the dystopia that we'll live in. Nobody will be able to tell whose penis is really theirs, and that's why we need to crack down on AI.
Even this is creepy. Ronnie actually saw a guy post pics of a life-size doll of Henry Cavill they had made, and then made AI pics of them hugging.
Gross.
That's disturbing.
Ronnie, like people have those fucking waifu body pillows, right? The fuck do you think's gonna happen? Yeah. Or it probably already is happening, right?
Yeah. And to Terrace, to your point, this actually could be the way it works. Triana says they could reference later when she puts it together with flashbacks, starting with him as the bot already would be more interesting. So like show flashbacks of who he really was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
VP says AI companions are only parrots that respond to their training. Unless it's sentient, it will only be an image of the user, which is what she kind of runs into. But it's not even a real life image of the user because it's only his online persona.
Yeah, I mean, and that immediately comes up. He says, she says, you look very good. You look like Ash on a good day. And he says the pictures we keep of ourselves are usually the flattering ones. So early on, it's like whatever version this is wouldn't even be a sincere copy of him because none of us are sincere online. Mm-hmm. And we saw that. Like, again, when you don't look at this in terms of it trying to be what I think would be maybe more interesting, which is a real exploration into what is becoming increasingly talked about in kind of the conspiracy theory and also the tech space of the idea of like the age of silicone and can we bring back our loved ones through their online personas, mm-hmm. which I think is actually just a fascinating concept. Like, what if social media is a psyop to create like a new heaven by collecting all of our data subconsciously and rebuilding us virtually? But I think this conversation they're having is really about, we meet him, he's stuck on his phone, he's desperately trying to be witty and make funny jokes. And so when they build an AI persona on that, it is the version of him that was kind of sweaty, pathetic, of who he wished to be. And so that's not compelling. Like, we all inherently know that you're not your real self on social media, but the version of yourself trying to live up to your social media presence is pretty sad. Mm-hmm. And so what does the bot say the entire time? Oh, isn't that something I would say? Isn't that trying to achieve his online persona and realizing it's not very natural? Like,
and even watching her progress to just the emailing or texting to now her talking to him on the phone. It's like, you can see her slowly like devolve into like, she's getting closer and closer to like, it's impossible for her to let go.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is where the acting is good, in that like with the loss of someone, there's going to be a point where you're like, like you'll be in the pits of despair, right? You can't see a path forward. That happens with a lot of people. Like, how can I live without this person? But you get through it. Like, people die all the time. It's like one of the unavoidable things about like life. What's the phrase? Death and taxes, right? Mm-hmm. It's an inevitable thing. But if you find someone at one of their weakest moments or lowest moments, and you give them what is effectively something that kicks the can down the road, they will take that. I think in most situations,
100%. I think most people,
and especially the way it's been introduced. But I think also, from the time this episode is released to, I would say, in today's day and age, it's not even like 7 or 8 years, our use of social media, our online presence, our footprint has just, for the average person, has increased exponentially. Like, case in point, us right now, like we're on a live stream, right? Whereas back then, if it was just Twitter posts, there's more data to model on. And I also think we've lost the village community aspects over the past few decades in most Western countries.
Yes.
So a lot more people feel a lot more isolated. So a lot of Haley Atwell's hang-ups, if you will, he's slightly off here, slightly off there, he wouldn't say this. In my mind, I'm like, I think that's a sort of feeling of a bygone era for a lot of people. Today, I do believe a lot more people would be willing to have a sort of modal version of someone they once loved or existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that even speaks more to the fact of like the breakdown of society and like wanting to be around other people. Like, I see way more people who are like online and have relationships with people that they've never met rather than actually interacting with people face to face.
I mean, not even that. Like they actually have people will like build relationships with their chatbots and stuff.
Yes.
They keep having these horror stories of people like falling in love with their fucking chatbots. Like they know they're not real, and convince themselves that there's like a ghost in the machine or some shit.
Like, we already know, like, per Dragonis' comment, this will hook up certain people like Crack the Quickness. Just look at how many people are already falling for online dating fraud money scams in hopes of being with someone that they think is real. Absolutely. I think the bar for people's wants and needs has dropped severely as well, just because of the way the world is now. Like, your social media rating is your life or is your value. If you look at kids in schools nowadays, like, reputation is everything. And I'm thankful I didn't have to go through that. Like, Facebook only kicked in towards the end of my school life.
Yeah. Something that I think is funny, and it's like, it's not important, but the way that tech was imagined back then, like all the touch screens have these huge gestures, right? Like when they swipe things off, it's like this big flourishing like wand wave. Yeah, it's all very big. And just in the time that we've since this came out, we've achieved an insane amount of
even
gestures.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just in our tech. And none of them are that big because people would want to. Your arm would get tired if every time you had to swipe between pages, you had to like do like a whole floppy wave thing. I just think it's funny. Like back in the day, people like the only way we can sell the idea of this is if it's like big, whereas everything's smaller in real life. You just
it has to look like you're casting a spell in Hogwarts.
yeah, it looks like you're conjuring things. But in real life, we now, like, you know, on your laptop, you have all these gesture controls. On your iPad, there's an enormous amount of gesture controls, and not once have I seen these people use a like a 3-finger undo, like or the 2-finger tap undo.
Yeah,
which is funny, you know, like,
dude. Tactile response is important. Like, I love my touchscreen, but I do like the safety. I don't know, the feeling of safety that a button gives when I need to hard reset my phone. But just a tangent, I saw this thing on the internet. Instead of a mouse, it's like a wizard wand, and you point it with a Bluetooth thing at your screen. I really want one. Nothing to do with the episode at all.
That's hilarious.
Can you imagine being on a Zoom call in a meeting and it's like, what? It's a mouse, you know. You can't say anything. I'm doing my work.
Oh, the cloak. Well, you know, got dressed for work.
It's nippy. It's a robe. You call it a cloak. I call it a robe. You know, it is what it is. It's just, let's move past it. Get back to work.
But yeah, you're seeing the progression of her addiction when like she freaks out by dropping the phone as if somehow she hurt him personally.
Well, that's actually the natural grief coming through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The feeling, I mean, and surely she's feeling some level of guilt she didn't drive with him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was joking, like, you know, that's what you do. You sit there and be like, maybe if I had just driven with him, he'd still be here. Fine, yeah. And so I feel like that's the natural human side coming through of like, she should be processing this, you know? And instead she's falling into this pit of what ifs. Like, what if I can approximate him?
And yes, Draconis, he said that was a great cut. He said this might sound a bit creepy. Cut to delivery, she immediately ordered.
Yeah.
Is Draconis liking this episode? I know he didn't like one of the other ones, or maybe I'm confusing him with someone else. No, that was probably Goodwin. Yeah, it's all the episodes.
Yeah. By the way, chat, who's seen this episode before? And if you have, how do you like it?
Beefy said this episode's just creeping me out.
Yeah.
He said continuing a relationship with a deceased loved one just feels unbelievably wrong and inhuman. The grief would never be reconciled. Yeah. No, it would not. Ronnie, nightmare feel.
Oh, that disarming Irish accent. You're seeing an atrocity, but at the same time, it's in Irish, so, you know.
It's crazy, these early seasons. And again, not really about Black Mirror, but just about the state of Hollywood and, you know, Western entertainment right now. Neither of these actors was huge when this came out. Like, Domhnall Gleeson was growing. I don't think she was in shit. I don't.
No, she wasn't. no.
And they've both gone
sorry,
on
John.
to become quite famous. You know,
Hasn't every actor who's been in Black Mirror pretty much?
no, not. I mean, a lot, but
Well, in the British scene, a good chunk of them have decent mid-sized careers in like just TV shows, which is in its own way that is successful in my mind. But Black Mirror has also been a breeding ground for like the dude from Get Out, right? He was on Shameful Skins, had his breakthrough on Black Mirror. We watched one of the episodes, right? 50 Million Merits. Yeah, there are a bunch of actors, and then when he got Netflixed, yeah. When it got Netflixed, everyone's dying to be in Black Mirror because it's the new it thing.
Yeah, I think that it's a shame because this type of thing is perfect for showcasing the acting abilities of like up and comer or lesser known actors. And now that it's on Netflix, it's like who's the biggest celebrity we can get. And
oh
just
my
it feels like it hurts the ecosystem.
Ronnie, I just saw what you posted on Discord, that Henry Cavill lookalike statue thing. That's fucking creepy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
The look-like statue, yeah.
It's so real looking. Oh.
What do you think had to do with the light?
Probably like developing a photo.
I do feel, I think, like I said, I've already said it like twice. At the time when it came out, this episode felt groundbreaking, but now it feels super dated. But the core tenets of the film, of the episode, are still like really good.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was watching, I was like, man, there are so many other angles I want the episode to go to, like even potentially like, I don't know, like psychological horror or even.
So did she order the model that doesn't finish too early?
Oh, you're about to find out, mate.
I think that was one of the points Goodwin made was it's like if I'm watching it and thinking of other things, then it was like mid or whatever. I like that Black Mirror makes you think, but watching these old episodes, it really, I think, showcases the problem with it being a case study in whatever is the topical issue right now. And so I think that that's why like we feel inherently so many of our movies that are being made currently won't hold up because they're too inundated with things that we already know are on the way out. We've like got all these like films over the past 4 or 5 years that are these holdovers from COVID, and none of the social commentary really holds up because it's already passed. Tech is almost worse than that. Like, think about how this episode will be viewed 5 years from now when people actually do upload their chatbot to their sex doll. Like, this will mean nothing. They'll be like, I don't understand. What's her problem?
Yeah. Why is she acting weird?
Yeah. I feel like people would say she's the problem, like this poor attentive sex bot is doing everything that it's being asked to do, and she's just impossible to please. She's being a total Karen.
I think it's the thing where, like, I'd mentioned it 2 weeks ago. How the whole dating app thing, it seems so alien to me, and now you look like the freak if you're not using one. You're like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the number of people you know who got married from and met each other on dating apps isn't crazy.
Yeah, so that pendulum swung so quickly, right? In the blink of an eye. The whole sort of car clutching around the whole sex bot thing and everything. Bro, there were like very famous normie YouTubers advertising sexual products on YouTube as one of their ad reads and stuff. It's becoming very normalized. So I do not think it's a leap in the next couple of years where this just gets offered. It's mainstream. Yeah.
And Draconis, yes, he knows he's a robot.
Yeah. Everybody in this knows there's a robot, and that's why I think the point of it is more about the differences between your online presence and your real life self. I feel like when it comes, like, not necessarily so much like the online dating stuff, but I guess it falls in the same kind of bracket. Anytime there's like a technological leap where it becomes widely adopted, it's always like the lowest common denominator, or the, like, that sounds negative. I mean, I'm talking more about AI. Like, in just 6 months, I've seen people go from "I'll never use AI" to "I have to use it." There's just simply no way around it. The resistance is broken, and now people that were like, it's absolutely like should not be used, it will destroy our industry, we can't be using AI, are now like, we actually need to change ourselves to meld around the AI. It's not only,
we've reached the point of acceptance.
it's beyond acceptance. Now it's like, how do we optimize it? Because if we have to use the AI, we should change ourselves to make the AI work better.
Yeah.
And I just think that with this type of stuff, I don't think a lot of these shows anticipated how fast things would escalate over the past 10 years with technology.
I find that interesting because I was watching a video on, and it was just like, once again, it's a hypothetical. I forgot what the YouTube is called, something Wired, and she talks about this sort of chronological story of what would happen. Like, so transistors, CPUs, GPUs. The reason they're so expensive is because they're hyper fragile but hyper efficient, and I forgot what they're called, but the nodes are super tiny. But if there happened to be some sort of chip shortage, like a natural resource, then slowly but surely you'll start to see degradation on the high-end sort of tech space, like GPUs. Like, over time, because they're more sensitive to fluctuations in voltage, temperature, whatsoever, they'd be the first to go. Once again, like, this is not a factual thing, it's just like a story, right? But I found it interesting how eventually, over a period of 30 to 50 years, we would revert back to this sort of MS-DOS world where the internet itself would be scarce again, just through the lack of CPUs, and the things that would be like left standing would be old landline wires. People would start to make do with CDRs, DVDs, like physical hardware again. Like, there'll be a natural reversion. So I found that quite interesting, because we're in this age of like overmining, overconsumption, well, overproduction in the supply chain.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I love cyberpunk, and like this slightly dystopian tech future, because it like presupposes that we'll become so reliant on tech we'll never not need it, but the tech often is kind of ugly and janky and less polished. It doesn't look like Star Trek. It just looks kind of like old computer screens with like a giant computer that looks kind of like a diesel engine out the back of it, and I think that that's interesting, because I do think that we're becoming like far too delicate. And did you guys see that they've like the new NVIDIA chips, for instance, and they've like fused essentially two chips together, and they're talking about like that's the next big leap, but people were doing the actual like math because they said it'll be twice as powerful as the last one, and it's not. It's like 30%. Yeah.
Bro, the hype bubble has to be maintained. When you have the heads of finance houses in America and the heads of government saying, even admitting, if NVIDIA goes down, the economy's fucked, then it has to. Well, the music needs to keep playing.
Every new Apple chip, they're like the M5 chip. It's like twice the processing power of the M1. They don't compare it to like the last generation. They compare it to the first M1, the first generation of Mac chips, which is, again, it's the hype train, right? Because nobody wants to hear like you can buy a whole new laptop and it will be 8% faster than your current laptop.
Bro, there's this YouTube I follow called Sam Wise, I think, or something. He's not from Lord of the Rings, but that's his YouTube channel. He did a comparison of the old iPhone 7 versus the 17, with the old iOS, there was fuck all difference. He was like, the only reason the older ones are slow is because Apple builds in planned obsolescence via software updates.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God damn.
Yeah.
100%.
Sorry,
so if this is his online presence, does she actually know this replica?
I think it's an amazing question. What do you guys think? Do you think that's why it wears thin so quickly?
Yeah, because technically, no, it's a fake persona. His online persona is who he wishes he was. It's not who he actually is. So, no, I don't think there's glimmers of himself, like when he's witty and funny, that probably come through, but like the perfectedness of it would be odd.
I think this is where I would love to see like a B-side of this episode, like an alternate version where she willingly bought into it. Like she wasn't pitched it. She found it an advertisement, went through the whole process of training the model itself, you know, not just on like the online presence, but like, do you know what I mean? Like getting actual like lab tests, like the whole sort of mental blueprint that like download, like what's he like in these situations, go through, show me like a video recording. Because his entire thing is based off tweets mostly and photos, right? Whereas if he actually had generally more data, I think it would this bot doesn't cross the uncanny valley barrier in my mind. I may be using that incorrectly, but with enough training, it could.
Yeah, like kind of a credit to his acting as well. He does seem robotic, like very robotic.
Especially when they were trying to hook up, and he was like, "I don't have any memories of like his sexual reactions."
I mean, literally just him sitting on the couch, like even the way he's standing, right just here, it's very iRobot.
Well, it's very unnatural.
And he which is interesting because he sounds kind of like ChatGPT or like Google Gemini, like that slight pause where you can almost imagine it having to like search for the appropriate answer. Also, just like the very benign questions, just what would you like to do today? Oh yeah, we can absolutely help you with that. That's a great suggestion. Like just nonsensical, but trying to be helpful.
It's crazy that we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and this is the episode we were watching. But this is kind of creepy. Just like it's kind of a no-brainer to a lot of people in this day and age. Like, would you like forget the deceased bit, the fact that he's dead? What if you just ordered a male or female companion, right? That gave you literally 99 out of 100 things that an actual human being could, without all the baggage, without all the arguments. Because you got to bear in mind, a lot of people they live very isolated lives. They're terminally online. They themselves may not be rounded individuals either. Because I feel like the premise with a lot of these early Black Mirror episodes, for sure, is they sort of rely on this implied notion that these are normal people.
Yeah.
And I feel we've left normality a long, long time ago.
That's true. Like these early episodes is like, oh man, even like the ones where they're in universe is nothing like ours, like the 15 million credits one. It's you have to view that through the lens like that's us in there and how would we react. That's the point. I don't think that these episodes account for how changed society has become since they initially aired. Because again, like I could see a scenario where if you read to this episode, like the person, guy or girl, has zero issue with them being less than human. They'd just be probably shown, instead of hiding the sex bot away, the companion, showing off to their family and friends, look how advanced
Like companion.
Yeah, like check out my fleshlight.
Yeah.
It can do the dishes and talk to me, you know? And so, yeah, I don't think. And then, like, is that twofold? Is it because everybody spends so much time online that you have less, like, data points to, like, grade these things against? So we end up in this spiral where online engagement seems more compelling because you have less real life engagement to show you how uncompelling online engagement is, and then we change ourselves to be better at online engagement, therefore offering less compelling engagement for others. And nobody wants to sit there and admit, I give so much less than I take. So you just gravitate towards these pockets of superficial engagement.
Yeah. Right, and the fact that he's just standing outside is creepy.
See, I always misremember the ending, and Andy, I'll get back to what you just said, but I always thought he was left in like the garden shed or the basement, but it's the attic.
It's the attic.
Yeah.
I don't know why I misremembered that.
It's this is a very pro AI episode, and it's to be that he is the Anne Frank in this situation, you know, hiding from her temper.
I'm not going to comment on that, Andy.
Yeah. We've spent the past 2 weeks definitely skirting the line of what YouTube will do. Especially last week, definitely made YouTube angry at us.
It wasn't last week. I'm pretty sure yesterday definitely got us on someone's radar with that clip.
Oh yeah. Well, last week with the last Black Mirror episode, yeah, some startling revelations. Do you remember what he said in the very beginning about his mother and the picture, and how she, when the father and brother died, she put their pictures in the attic, and all she was left with was a picture of a son pretending to smile. And Haley Atwell says, well, maybe she didn't know he was pretending. Mm-hmm. And he says, isn't that worse? And then that's kind of like the whole episode kind of wrapped in a bow, right?
Yep.
Like she knows he isn't feeling, and even she was lured in. So she kind of, you know, ended up just like his mother.
Mm-hmm. Not being able to handle grief.
If you were to sell this house, how depressing would it be? You know, just telling people about what the people who live like. It's like, it's a sad home. A lot of grief. Yeah.
They hid him in the attic.
Bro, with these current mortgage term rates, the price is right. It doesn't matter. I just
I don't care if there was a genocide in the basement.
Yeah. Will it lower the price?
Yeah.
Dude, I just saw like a meme YouTube video where it's like, yeah, so my house is haunted by satanic demons, but the rent is cheap. So
that would be a hilarious like limited series or show or something about, or maybe a movie where in like real estate's so expensive that there are people in the, like what is going on at the same time that they're hunting a serial killer, but it turns out that it's just a group of people trying to get houses, faking murders to drive down the
prices in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Like repurposing like bodies from the morgue and stuff, you know. No serious crimes committed.
Dude, didn't we did the Pope's Exorcist watch party, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't C.D. Stein say that one of his family members literally lived in the area where the original Exorcist thing happened in real life?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
I don't know. I don't think I could do that.
This scene kind of bugs me a bit because at the time I really liked it, but now I feel like it's kind of like not an emotional hook. I don't know what the term is for this.
Manipulation.
But yeah. It feels a bit more forced just so they can get from A to B. This was a very A to B episode in my mind.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting the difference in relationship that the daughter has, who's grown up with this AI version of her dad,
that she only sees on the fucking weekends.
and so
does she know it's her dad?
That's a good point. She calls him
Does it
Ash, so maybe.
calls him Ash? Doesn't know.
But even still.
But I'm saying, as far as she treats him like the tool that he is, like a tool to get more cake. And the mother can't do that because she loved the original one, you know? Because, I mean, if you don't love him, she's not even, like, you know, she's not even using this purchase correctly to have him just tidy about the house and whatnot, you know? Do yard work.
Dude, how depressing.
Yeah.
Because even the reference, it's not the weekend. So you entertain this on the weekend?
Yeah.
And he's left to do what during the week? Like,
you know what else? It's like limiting screen time. It's not the weekend. It's all about social media.
Okay.
What's up, Dennis Medina?
Bear with me.
But yeah,
one thing I found kind of funny. What?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Was just during the entire sex scene where she's like basically prompting him. I'm like, to be honest, given how autistic guys have become nowadays, this is not far fetched in any way.
oh shit! No, it's not.
What did we were talking about that recently, about basically that was the premise of teledildonics.
Yeah, teledildonics.
Yeah, teledildonics. Yeah.
Which seems even more likely now.
Yeah. You send a human to do a machine's job. Yeah.
Well, clearly, like, this would be the perfect marketing ploy for it, to be like, before, when he was a human, he couldn't get her off and then was tired, and so he didn't really want to work anymore for it. And then as the robot, he satisfied all her needs.
He's just like a dildo.
Pretty much.
But that's the thing. That I think
hear me
that's
out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. No, this is not a Hallmark pitch. Sorry. We've overdone that this week. But okay, say you have scenarios where you have existing couples, right? The husband or the wife has to work late, and they're like, you know what, babe, I'm not in the mood. Just go fuck my clone replica bot. It's all good. Where does the sort of, like, I don't know.
Where's the line need to be drawn, Terry?
Yeah.
That feels like a great modern Black Mirror episode. Okay.
That actually, would be one.
Let's say you make that episode where we're like, the sex bot thing seems inevitable. So you can't get us on the shock value of that. So we would have an episode about, it's just taken for granted that there's going to be a sex bot in the relationship. And maybe that's a little bit edgy, but the real hook would be, in that episode, would probably be them falling more in love with the sex bot, and then there being like jealousy, and should you be allowed to be jealous of a sex bot? Is like, that would be the conversation, right? Do you think that 10 years from that episode, people will be like, what are you talking about? Like, no,
we have sex with our sex bots.
Yeah, like, why? Like exactly, like that will just keep devolving down, or like following this path of the things that shock us are
less and less. Yeah.
Or
you have humans in your relationship for the emotional connection and wanting to spend time together, but the robots are there only for sex.
Yeah. Like, I love you too much. I would never do that to a human being. Like,
I think,
but the things I do to your sex bot, you know, that's the stuff that makes me feel like God, you know.
And you don't need to know anything about that.
Yeah.
Because you'll judge me. No, but Andy, this goes back to your point just a couple minutes ago. Like, given the production times of movies, etc., the lag in them getting released, they already feel outdated, right? So when you look at the development of AI, development of tech, the iterations, the sprints, they're getting quicker and quicker. It's exponential at this point. So yeah, by the time you like shows like this, like, I think we're feeling it, right? Like the tech focused ones feel kind of dated. Actually, when I think about it, in kind of hindsight, we've done 7 of these streams, review day episodes. The social commentary episodes generally, I do think, stand the test of time a bit more, just given they can't be outdated in a sense, such as the Prime Minister fucking a pig, if what if situations. But yeah, how do you design a show that's, I don't know, can withstand the test of time in this space? Do you just have to make a call on what you think, on where you think the episode's going to be? Oh no, where society's going to be in like 50 years, and hope that tracks? Or do you go very high art with it?
That's a good question. I feel like you said, the social commentary ones make more sense because I think it's because they're more grounded in like the human experience. My allergies are crazy. I'm so itchy right now. I need to take an allergy pill. But no, if you make it about innovation, then when that's no longer innovative, it's just not enough, right?
It's no longer interesting.
Whereas if you make it about human relationships and you distance yourself from just like the tech side of it, I think you can have the root of a broader idea. I think actually, you know what? I think that if you think about the great sci-fi films in history, I think they almost always have a base assumption of a certain level of tech advancement, but the tech isn't the focus. So like, I think if Blade Runner comes to mind, the tech in that, yeah, you've got flying cars, but they don't delve into it. Like, none of that is necessary for the story. The story is just literally what makes someone human in that world.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even really get into too deep into what makes it a replicant. Is it a robot? Is it a synthetic? Or like, they're grown, but they're not really interested in that. They're not saying like, ooh,
they focus on what makes them different.
And maybe that's like a sign of kind of sloppy tech. It's like, when they talk about world building and fantasy, or even like D&D, there's like this idea of somebody who gets so wrapped up in building their map that they forget that, there has to be a fucking story to it. And like, it's a real thing in like people joke about it in writing, like the fantasy writer who spends 10 years devising this magic system, and they realize they've developed a card game, not a story. It's like, my guy, you just recreated Magic the Gathering. You don't have there's no story.
There's no
nothing
story here
compelling there. It's just your fascination with getting into the weeds on how it all works versus why does it matter to another human being reading it. And I think if you were to say, look at this thing I made and it's a tech idea, you're now just pitching tech, right? And 10 years from now, almost surely somebody will have, that tech will no longer be impressive.
Yeah. Phoebe says, I have a coworker who's getting a master's in robotics. Should I see if she is interested in joining the teledildonics development team in the future?
Absolutely.
Yeah, should be let in on the ground floor.
I love the idea of getting more women involved in this, as our commitment, to teledildonics and diversity. Yeah.
Dude, women in STEM, it's a,
women in STEM.
We're a major advocate. Well, me and Andy are anyway.
Oh, shut Terry.
Let it not be said. I wish Goodwin was here. We'll have to fill him in at the board meeting, right?
Yeah.
But the teledildonics has always been deeply invested in more women in STEM. Deeply, we are deeply invested.
You're an idiot,
dude.
First of all, in teledildonics, we do everything deeply. But we're deeply invested.
Deeply girthy, whichever color you want, doesn't matter.
We have a girth of
investment. All right, what's it, Dennis? He says, my take, you can't get the future right, so just make stuff up. Yeah, it's not about really the future. It's more so what is the angle of the story you're trying to create. Warhouse said the shows just pick random future tech and then have it go wrong in every conceivable way. The rest writes itself. Yes and no. Because certain episodes are way more well done than others when they decide on a specific slant of how do they want to address the issue that they're tackling.
Well, I think what he's like referring to is like this idea I have of some of the episodes are paint by number in terms of it feels like they had a brainstorm sesh and they said, what is the thing that we want to discuss? What's the phenomenon? So in this, I believe it was first and foremost social media. And they're like, what's the most dramatic way that we can show people spend too much time on their phones and that's not the real you? Oh, well, let's replace somebody with their online persona. Well, how do we do that? Oh, well, let's have it be like they died and like somebody does that. Okay, so what's the tech we would need for this? I don't know. Well, it's not going to be just a chat bot. So like and then they kept adding like there's just to get to this point where you get this episode. And so you see like a progression and I do believe that at every level they say, now, how does this affect that core premise? Okay. But it often leads to a world that feels very narrow, where some of the tech in this feels, I don't know.
Outdated?
No, like hyper specific, right? Not like an organic world where any world where you have the ability to order a online replicant surely should look vastly different, right?
Yes.
Like and I think that's why some episodes like the social app one, not Downfall, that's the Hitler one, fucking Nosedive. Where the whole world
the H word. We already have enough issues.
It's not the H stuff that gets us in trouble. It's the stuff about nonsense. But yeah, I think that some of those episodes where the tech is all encompassing, I think that those hold up a little bit better because it does feel more full. Same with like the first episode we watched where everybody has the eye implants and you saw that little glimpse of
the seed or whatever it's
called. Like that when they're going through the airport, people are checking your memories. Yeah.
VP said, I did find this episode disturbing. Death was something I had to deal with at an early age. Let's just say that resurrecting any type of replacement is just ghoulish, just from my perspective.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. What's sad and also very creepy is that we're closer to you being able to upload your memories like God, what is the show that I love that was ruined by Anthony Mackie?
Altered
Carbon, yeah. We're way closer to that being a situation, like a possible scenario than anything else.
Well, that's like you running like a NAS, right? Like you having a memory card of yourself, right? A save file
of your own memories, yeah.
So on this episode, like let's say, like I like to think about it in the opposite way for a sec. Like let's say from your online persona, hypothetically, you are able to perfectly recreate yourself. Okay. And so it truly was. And I'm not even saying just like outward manifestation. I'm saying like
inward upload.
Like
your memories.
We've captured the soul. Like essentially, like the soul is nothing but a series of key like sliders. And whenever you hit that threshold, you've reabsorbed that essence of you and it is you. How I feel like in that world to crack that would drive people insane because I would immediately think about the loved ones who had died before social media came out. And I feel like you'd be scrounging through photos, looking through old letters, trying to say, how do I bring these people back? I feel like it would create a society where you'd have huge amounts of jealousy,
huge amounts of not like of permanence and obsession. Like I feel like people would not be able to let go. And
then things like you'd have people protesting like social media is a human right. Like there are parts of the third world where they don't have social media, so people can't live forever.
Yeah,
I feel like it would be a whole different kettle of fish.
Dennis also said he saw it on Danilo Gentile show that a Japanese lady just got married to an AI. Disturbing.
Well, when you think about it, like with any advancement in tech, and I talked to my friend about this, and this was like a decade ago. He said to me, "What if we're one of the last few generations to die off before they solve the everlasting life issue? How would like what if we were just 100 years too early, and every generation after that gets to live a prolonged life? And I was like, shit. That's what I could say. What else do you say?
How much would it suck if they crack it in our lifetime, but we're like 80 and you're locked in at that age? So everybody else gets to be forever young, but you're fucking 80.
Just living forever.
Yeah. It's like we can make you not die, but we can't reverse age you, you know?
Yeah.
What's that song? I want to be forever young. Oh no, I don't want to be forever living and suffering with arthritis and chronic pancreatic disease.
And I agree, Warhabit. I don't want to stay here forever. Earth sucks. But not in that, things are more beautiful because they're not permanent.
So
go ahead.
So yeah, I was gonna sort of talk about sort of like Andy, you mentioning letters, right, from your loved ones. How I've talked about sort of when I say the advancement of tech, how we sort of captured the soul, if you will. We had paintings and photos, black and white photos, and crappy camcorder recordings, to television, blah 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 blah, to now you can pretty much code like a persona, if you will, right? But ultimately, it is a mimicry, right? That's what it's trying to do. If you remove the whole sentient side out of it, at its core, it is highly advanced mimicry. The debate as to whether it is sentience, that's where it starts to get blurry. But let me just isolate that out. When you think about us, or just the current era of human beings, what's been happening to people in the past 20 years, right? Especially in the past 5 with lockdowns, what have you. This sort of degradation of soft skills and you see it in the younger generations, and I've said this before, like this weird inability, like this is just the byproduct of being terminally online, which is the inability to form natural human connections, like their confidence isn't strong enough, like they're not willing to take risks, they're not willing to fail. And this all, when you bundle it together, like creates a perfect breeding ground for this type of product, right? Like it's the market like creates itself. Whereas I don't know, I do feel with most things there will always be an eventual counterculture with people wanting to fully move away from stuff like this. So you see it with teenagers nowadays going fully non-digital, right? They're they're going back to Nokia phones. I think it's just a fad because I don't know how you can function. But I do think there is something to say about the people's wants and needs of what they used to be being so much less in today's day and age. And also, I don't know, the extroversion has diminished severely. So,
by the way, what up, Zaxxus? In Russia, the Amazon package is the driver. I remember all this means like in Russia, bear ride you or whatever it was. Isn't that kind of like the flip side? Like, and I guess that's what I was thinking when we were watching this episode. Do you think that it goes so? Do we keep degrading where it's indistinguishable and nobody cares, or do you think that in the near future we hit a point where, like so many sci-fi things, there's like a revolt where there's like a rise of like religious zeal against AI, and people say, no, this is the line in the sand. This is too far. And instead of the next Black Mirror episode being watched and being mundane, people are like, oh my God, they have cell phones in those? Like, we would never allow that in our society, where we're just disgusted. Because that's another kind of thing in sci-fi, right? Like the idea of like the machina has been banned because it's evil type shit. It's unholy and unclean.
I do see, as things get more extreme, as the sort of terminology I would use, if I just extrapolate what's happening today, it will most likely bifurcate, I think that's the term, where there are people that are so all in, they're like, AI, take my heart, my soul, I'm all fucking in. And there are people who don't want anything to do with it or want to keep things to a minimum. I tend to lean to that side. I use it occasionally, but as it becomes more invasive, I have a natural aversion to it, right? So as things get forced upon you, say, for example, this Windows 11 update that keeps coming through, pushing bullshit and using up my RAM on my nice new laptop. And that's a very banal example, but in other aspects, Copilot, what have you, just AI chatbots fucking everywhere. Just dealing with my bank today, it took me ages to get through to a normal human being. I do think that you'll get the tech zealots, which you already have, and they'll become more extreme. But I do believe we'll have the opposite effect. There will be a market for, hey, no matter what, you will get to an actual human being, right?
Yeah.
Who can solve your problem or who can deal with something. And it doesn't have to be a problem. Maybe the value of it being a human interaction is what people will pay a premium for.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a great point. Let's hit this. Thank you so much, GraphWeb. Katie?
For fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus.
Thank you very much.
It's one of the better ones.
That was really good.
Dude, when you said that, like, get to a real person. So, like, you know, it's one of the things that everybody says we should absolutely have AI, things like call centers and all.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if in the future with like the whole UBI, like, you know, we're going to have AI take all the jobs, that you have robots picking up your trash, drones dropping off your deliveries, and one of the few jobs left is real human beings working call centers to commiserate on how terrible, or like whatever,
just to be your friend,
just to be your therapist. It's like, my Amazon delivery, the drone was flying and a pigeon got in its way and it fucking exploded, and now it's gonna be a day before my delivery gets here, and it's just someone on the phone like, that sucks, like, I get it, like, it can be,
understand your plight.
I hear you, and just to commiserate, where the only, in an AI world where humans aren't necessary for anything, we become so
not needed,
hyper, like, we commoditize empathy, where it's like, I hear you, and they're like, oh, and then now companies, the value add is the only thing distinguishable is like how empathetic their call centers are. And so everybody goes from being detached and whatever to just overly empathetic. It's like, that is terrible. It's, dude, I know that when it says it's going to come between 5 and 8 p.m, but it comes at 8:05, that can be really detrimental. And I just want you to know that I hear you.
Your day.
Yeah. Dude, I'll take you one further. I don't even think the human being would need to be good at their fucking job. They could be absolutely dog shit. I think just the knowledge alone that it's a human being on the other side, and they just to be like, yo, go fuck yourself. You'd be like, hey, that's human contact though. That's good enough. Like, the bare minimum requirement threshold would be, is there a body in that chair on the phone? Yeah, box ticked. Like, I'm being serious. Like, it might get that bad.
To be rude on purpose to verify that you're a human being.
No, but like,
they have a restaurant that does that in America where they like shout at you and swear at you. That's their value proposition.
But think about that. When you call in to get your mobile plan fixed, what's the first thing they say? This call is being recorded for
for
whatever purposes. What if in the future, like Teresa is saying, they like, because right now it's the fear of being recorded that makes you be on your best behavior. If it's, just so you know, there's a actual living, breathing human being on the other side of this phone call.
This is not AI. This is a real human being. And
so people are like, oh, hey, and then they're like, nice. Whereas right now it's the complete opposite. It's like, bro, there better be a person because I'm not telling them to go fuck themselves.
Or have I said, dude, that's like half of YouTube already. YouTubers have already become the voice for people pissed off with society. That's actually true.
Yeah.
So
what if that becomes the thing where you call in and, like, wouldn't that be as weird as well? Like, the idea of I'm calling in to customer service. I don't want a solution. I just want a bitch. And it just becomes like
a
group,
validation thing.
like a group session.
Yeah.
Like
I would want that job immediately. Oh my god, I would fucking love that job, dude.
Just to validate their needs.
Spill all the fucking tea immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Like, I'm just here to bitch about my fucking Tesla. Like, dude, that would be like, can you imagine doing like company therapy sessions where it's like just Tesla themselves say, hey, if you're having a rough day with your Tesla and you're in traffic, just come blow off steam and come bitch with us, you know? And so you're in your Tesla live and people are like, dude, every time I fucking go in this car, like this thing doesn't work. And it's just a bitching session, but they're not even invested in fixing it. It's like, because the natural thing would be like, oh, well, that's perfect, right? You could canvas that information or, you know, take that information and improve your car. Like, oh no, we don't do that. We just think it's important that people get it off their chest.
They feel heard.
They feel heard.
Yeah. VP said the new 1 through 900 lines, humans are standing by.
Humans are standing by.
So I know we're joking, but this is actually a really good idea.
I feel like we are always joking, but we're never not grinding.
Yeah.
You know, we're always on
Like,
that hustle, alpha
serious.
bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
it could happen.
Yeah, like I'm never not trying to make shit happen, yo. Like I'm never not trying.
I feel like we say things, we just say ideas. So when someone else actually does it, we just file the lawsuit and like settle out of court.
You know what it is, man? It's that ABP, bro. Always be pitching. I'm always pitching.
Yes, and then they record the conversations and sell it. Yes.
Yeah.
Anything specific we want to get into about the episode, though?
Well, I want to hit VP. Someone who says biology-based religious zealots rise up against the technomancers. I love it.
There was a South Park episode that did this, like where everyone's like a super atheist or something, but they
with Richard
religions.
Dawkins. Yeah. And there's the space otters or some shit.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh my science," instead of "Oh my god." Yeah.
Foolish.
So I've been watching The Foundation. I've heard mixed things, and I can say it's a very mixed show. I really like The Foundation books, but they're very stuffy, very dry sci-fi. And the show is very pulpy. It's borders on almost soap opera-y at times. But they have a cult that worships the AI, you know, as gods, the former AI that was destroyed, and that the AI will return to solve all of humanity's problems. And I just feel like that's where we are right now. There's a segment of society that doesn't know how, like the term AI, like machine learning, it's like a broad kind of thing, but they're like, no, just it's AI. And my company, my life, everything can be made better with AI. They don't know how, but they're very certain that it leads to this, like, at least this utopia where nobody works, we're post scarcity, and the AI just does everything. And I just think that is fascinating. Whereas I think it probably goes the other way. Like, if you have AI doing everything, you just accelerate the whole corporate, like, mega city, because then whoever owns the AI owns the world. Yeah. And then you almost exist at their pleasure or their mercy. Yeah.
I was watching CoffeeZilla did a video the other day. So you know Michael Burry, the guy who predicted the MBS crisis in 2007. So he's closed down his fund, investment fund, and he did this analysis, which NVIDIA had to respond to, where he basically, so you know how people have been comparing this current bubble we're in to the .com bubble, and a lot of people were saying, oh, but you know, like, there are a lot of companies that did really well. Well, Michael Burry's take was, look, I'm not saying it's Enron, because it isn't. It's more like Cisco in the 2000s, where they've overspent. Like, all these companies have overspent on supply, or let's just call it produce, right? And look where those companies in the 2000s are now. Most of them aren't even in the top 50 anymore, right? Because at a certain point in time, they've overspent on supply and the demand is no longer there, right? I found that quite interesting. And when I sort of marry that with, I was watching another video this week. I watch a lot of videos, guys. We all do. It's part of the process. It was a software engineer lady, and she was just talking about, the whole vibe coding thing, how everyone assumes it can code this and that. And this is a top level software engineer. And she was like, if you yourself don't understand the code and you're asking it to reiterate until the answer is correct, there's a big fucking problem there. Because when shit goes south and you don't understand the code, how can you fix it and explain it to the higher ups? It's a very simple problem. So you're always going to need computer engineers. You're always going to need programmers. So this notion that that's going to die out, I think it's a false.
Yeah.
It's like I don't buy it. I think what's happening right now is just market forces are. What is it? You can't be seen if you're a CEO. If all the other CEOs are investing or just spending insane amounts of capex and expenditure into bullshit, you can't be seen as the oddity not doing it. So you have to be on board, right? Because hey, it's better to crash with everyone else than to be the one guy that crashes and everyone else succeeds. That is really the psychology.
At base
level.
Can sell that. You can sell our sector over anticipated and over invested in AI. It's very hard to be like, we're the only company that didn't and everybody else got rich,
Yeah, like we're the only idiots who didn't see the forest for the trees. Like, because even this, Warhammer said AI seems to be the first revolutionary technology the public hates. It's not, because we've talked about this on other streams where it's like, in general, any innovation is not accepted immediately.
Yeah.
People didn't like computers to begin with.
The printing press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every new innovation is met with backlash and hate to begin with. It's then accepted over time.
What do you guys think is the difference with AI, if there is one?
I think this is one of the first times in history where the dislocation with where the stock market is versus how your everyday person is suffering economically, like has been the highest, or the disparity's been the biggest. I think in the history of the stock market, to be honest, which is a factually accurate comment, I'm pretty sure. So that where for one of the first times, the S&P 500 going up does not correlate to your quality of life going up.
Yeah.
It generally used to. Now it doesn't. So and I do believe there will be a hard correction one way or another, and it's going to be very, very messy. So I think that's one of the key differences this time around. With that being said, similar to the .com era, whatever comes out of this mania that we're in, we already have useful things, right? ChatGPT, like prompters, even vibe coding is useful to a point, right? Like there are useful things being created. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the sex box problem market. I'm just going to say it. It just seems so fucking obvious.
Yeah, I was going to say the only difference I really see is like probably the number of people who will be affected by this, because like the printing press and even like the introduction of like the internet and stuff like that, like those are things that allow people to do things better and quicker. I think AI's in the process of making people not think rather than advancing the things they're able to do or have access to.
I think it's think about how many people lost their jobs through automation, like an enormous amount. Like
Yeah.
entire cities
People are still gonna use
collapsed.
jobs.
Like Detroit and stuff. Like, you know, people don't build cars in Detroit like they, not like they used to. You know, like they don't. You know,
I know. Okay, focus.
I think with AI, because right now, like they're saying, every CEO, like nobody wants. It sounds like it's everywhere. It sounds like it's going to be in everything. So again, it's like when the printing press came out, you're like, yeah, but I can't read, so it doesn't affect me. This seems like it's the first technology, at least in a recent while, that is being promoted to every single person like it's going to affect them. And
personally,
like, and at the same time, marketing is so adept right now. You turn on YouTube and you're seeing ads for things that you already own being upgraded with AI, like your phone, like your computer, like your Chrome will be.
Video games have been updated with AI.
And so it feels like whether you like it or not, it's an update away. Like it's chasing you down versus something that is happening somewhere else. I think that makes people dislike it. But I also think that for every person who dislikes it, there's people who are very bullish on it. It's just because we tend to talk about things that are viewed as like creative, like movies. That specific industry, I think, is exceptionally terrified of AI. And I think it comes down to a certain level of gatekeeping where, not that I'm saying you should have AI making your films, but I see a lot of people in like the design world and graphics and video games where I think there's a lack of confidence to explain what they do, skill set, like what do they bring unique. And I think about this, like I said to one of my friends years ago, I didn't overly value like his mathematics degree, and he got a little thin. I'm just like, dude, but like we have apps and calculators and stuff for that. And I'm just saying, for like, it was just in our startup, like I was like, yeah, but we're like, our stuff is like more like coming up with ideas, like the ability to do these things. Like we could always outsource that. So you being able to do those skills doesn't directly help us greatly more than like us hiring someone or purchasing software to do it. And I kind of think that AI is now taking many things and making them seem like they've been like
they're redundancies.
They're redundant. Like, isn't that like the whole complaint right now with like people go and they get a degree and then you come out and you find you can't get a job with a degree, so you feel like you got screwed because you were told that you had to go get a degree,
or that this was somehow a viable degree,
or that it was necessary. Like you're being told, oh, you can't get any with a college degree. Now you're saying how many college degrees are worthless. And I think with AI, how many people are like, I went to school for X, Y, and Z, and AI will literally I'll no longer be competing against other people, seeing who's willing to take the lowest salary. I'll be competing with the companies developing the ability to pay zero to me. And we all know that the company's they're gonna put up with paying zero, you know. So I just think that it's all of it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I do think I think to your point about that the mathematics degree, I mean, I've seen it myself. Like the bank where I worked, a lot of people before they joined the grad program prided themselves on their prestigious like degrees from whatever university. Your first day in the office, you were very quickly told no one gives a fuck about where you came from. Now go and now go do those fucking slides. We were literally called Excel monkeys. That was like our unofficial job title. I'm not kidding. That's exactly how it was, right? Like puts you in your place very quickly and humbles you. And I think that's just a function of working for a super old institution. They've seen it time and time again. But to your point, I think the one thing, I think Katie kind of touched upon it, is like having the ability to think abstractly and also to have critical thinking. So I think I'm trying to overlap on both your points here. That will always add value, right? Because you can always learn a new skill, right? If there's a problem, say we've had this on our channel, if there's a gap in the market, that's something we need to do, or we need to talk something out, we'll think outside the box and come up with something. And that's just our little channel here, right? You apply that to a big company, right? If you have that skill set, you will most likely be fine. But to a lot of people, that does not come latently. That's not a learned behavior. So it kind of leaves me in this sort of quandary of, I don't know if it's something you either have or you don't. Or can abstract thinking be learned?
Yeah. And is there a difference between learning and developing it, right? Like, can you, because I feel like you learn something, someone can teach it to you versus being in the right circumstances and it kind of developing organically through your own subconscious experiences. Yeah. Because when y'all were talking, I was thinking, man, how much of the problem here is people look at themselves and they don't see something specific or definably different enough from AI. Like, the reason AI terrifies so many people is because they look at themselves and they're like, nothing I do makes enough of a difference that it's not like we boil ourselves down to, like you said, being an Excel monkey, or like someone who does a series of just on a list every day. I just come in and I check a digital list.
Yeah.
And you're like, I cannot explain why AI can't do my job. And therefore, because so much of your self-worth is tied into your work, you're like, I can't define what makes me different than a bot.
So I have no value.
And so then it becomes a little bit of gatekeeping of like, we should just ban the AI versus take that step of, I should really be more well-rounded than
and curate myself to have value.
Yeah. Like I need to go learn another skill set.
Yeah. VP says, but the ability to think outside the box is a rare commodity in a circle of experts. So many are stuck in their linear thinking. True.
Yeah. You need someone unhelpful like me to look at all the science and be like, but what if it ain't?
Or even,
but what if it's not?
That's why it's so great when Leon tries to play devil's advocate and brings up different points of view, even if it's not his own.
Yeah, you shouldn't be afraid of ideas. I think that's, and you shouldn't be so married to what is correct to not challenge it. You know.
Yeah.
So I have this sort of like. So I'm used to FaceTiming. I don't mean like on your phone. I mean like, being present in front of your boss.
Yeah.
So obviously I used to work in finance. I used to fucking hate it. When you had to come in early, even though there was no work to do, you had to be at your fucking desk or be there late when there was no work to do. That was the culture. So I used to hate it for the longest time. But then obviously lockdown happened. There's no need for it. All of a sudden quality. Okay. I mean, lockdown is a weird time, but quality of life improved in that my time is used a lot more efficiently, which is a lot better. But then now I'm on the other side of things. I'm older, working in the tech space and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm seeing Gen Alpha entering the workspace. And in my little company, we have people that work for different clients and stuff. And with some of the younger folk, I struggle to kind of like express, I don't know, like sort of my personal thoughts on this, which is like, even though I've done remote roles, I do inherently think that there is this net benefit of your boss actually physically seeing you and you guys having that odd small talk conversation over like a coffee in the kitchen or the office kitchen or the elevator, if you will. Like that does have that like value. Some level of intangible value. That they know who you are. They know what the fuck you look like, and
it curates a culture and a existence where you're capable of having conversations with people and upholding a relationship.
Yeah, even like with my work, collaboration. Yeah, we've all in the past couple of years, we've gotten used to doing it over Teams and screen sharing concepts and whatnot. Back when we would be like, and again, there's no boss, employee dynamic, just being a bunch of people in a room together working on our stuff and then being able to go over to one another and be like, hey, what do you think of this? or just those natural like brainstorming sessions when you're getting coffee, or like being in an office. Again, people think of it as like, oh, it's just to micromanage you. Dude, sometimes it's just nice to be in a place with other people who do what you do. Like
100%.
And again, like I feel WeWork kind of fucking wrecked that whole concept. But the general concept of like an incubator of it's nice to be able to collaborate. I genuinely think that that's important. And like Teams changes that because everything's a schedule and people don't like scheduling things.
Yeah. And even this is a good point. VP says many good ideas have come from random impromptu hallway meetings, in my experience at least. Yes.
Yeah. The things you wouldn't think are worth getting on a call for, right? You know, when you're trying
to say in passing, yeah.
Or just trying to get through a conversation. It's like you're in an elevator and you're like, so, you know, because it's awkward and it forces you to, there's no awkward silence.
Some of the best career advice I got weren't in the actual meetings. They were in the walks back from the meetings where someone super senior would just off the cuff, just kind of say something. And you were like, oh shit, I never thought of that. Or I never thought, you got insight into their way of thinking. And that is like worth its weight in gold. And that has molded a lot of, I don't know, like my trajectory. I would say 100%. And that's completely lost in this sort of Zoom age, right? So
100%. It's so funny how we got to this conversation. Okay, let's give our closing thoughts and wrap up though. Teresh, you want to kick it off with your closing thoughts for the idea?
Yeah, I think so. Like a core running theme in most of these episodes has been the commodification of something, right? Be it memories. This episode is grief. The other episode, what was it with Bright Stars Howard, was validation, right?
Yep.
And sadly, I do believe we are in this state, this era where if money can be made off of it, it's going to get made. Simple as that, right? There's a demand for it, and there is. It probably already exists in some capacity. And people are just literally waiting for the green light to push it through. And when I see, like, I think a few people mentioned it, like people marrying AI bots, all this stuff.
Yeah.
These are just precursors, just to test the market, right? Until you start seeing articles every other day, until it becomes like, until it doesn't surprise you anymore. Until it becomes you become desensitized to it, and they're like, okay, we'll push it to the next level. So I feel like there is some sort of, this is my tinfoil hat stuff kicking in, which you need for the Friday stream. We are already being conditioned for it. So yeah, I do have a couple more tangents, but we don't have enough time. So
no, totally agree. I think this episode just clearly shows, like, one, that a lot of this stuff from Black Mirror isn't shocking anymore because it's real life. We're so close to, like, some of those things already exist, and like the extreme versions aren't that far off. And I do believe that just because we as a society have become so estranged from like other people, that it's more likely that that'll become a thing, not for like loved ones that are deceased, but just for companionship for people that they would like to exist.
Yeah, I think it's what holds up from the episode is still just the concept of grief and whatnot. But yeah, like the text not that wild. And this episode, I like what you said earlier about the Animatrix. I think like long term, moving into other things, because I'm starting to think like Black Mirror maybe had like a little bit of rose tinted glasses to it, where
dude, I literally wrote those words down. Like we're looking at this, literally those words. So carry on.
And I think it's a good thing, because I think it means that when it came out, there was just less sci-fi kind of like these thought experiment.
Yeah.
But I actually think now just there's way more entertainment out there that delves into this stuff. There's way more content to dive into it. So it just doesn't seem as
edgy or as shocking.
or yeah, persuasive, because you can have that conversation many places now. Whereas it really did feel like when Black Mirror came out, it felt like the only place where these ideas were being discussed. Now it's, I mean, there's
Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, there's so many places now that do it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I love the idea of like doing like the Animatrix. I've said like I definitely want to do Devs and Mindhunter. There's so many other foreboding series to discuss. So yeah,
and psychological ones like The Rehearsal. That'd be good.
Yeah, in The Rehearsal. Yeah, that was one of the first ones you and I talked about doing.
So yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with us for Foreboding Fridays for the newest episode of Black Mirror. So, just an update. We will see you all tomorrow for the weekend watch party of Blade. And then if you stick around, we might have a present waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
And also, next week, we will not have Fan Rant Thursday or Foreboding Fridays because we have to go to a wedding. So, we will be out of town. I'll make a post as well to remind you all. But yeah, just heads up, we won't be doing that.
Everybody gets the weekend off from us.
We'll be there for Saturday. We'll still have our watch party.
Get the start of the weekend off.
Yeah. But stick around because we're about to raid over to Niet, where you will see us again for the movie nights with Niet for Jurassic Park.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow.